Hi there. Welcome to the IDS Retail Park, where we decode the forces reshaping retail. I'm Maya, and today I'm joined by Christine to explore one of our most thought provoking exclusives. Before we jump in, please be advised this podcast features AI cloned voices created with human oversight. All content is reviewed by experts for accuracy and relevance. So, in this episode, we're diving into insights from Benedict Evans, an independent analyst who spent 6 years at Andreessen Horowitz and has tracked how technology unbundles and rebuilds entire industries. His framework helps us understand why retail isn't just adding digital channels, but it's actually being fundamentally reconstructed. It's also important to note that today's episode is based on research and an exclusive interview conducted in 2023. While the core insights and trends remain highly relevant, some details may have evolved since then. Christine, Benedict Evans uses this concept of unbundling and rebundling to explain what's happening across industries. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. Think about newspapers. They used to bundle everything together: news, classifieds, sports, entertainment. The internet didn't just digitize that bundle, it broke it apart. Suddenly, Craigslist took classifieds, blogs took opinion pieces, and social media became the distribution layer. Then new players rebundled those pieces in entirely different ways.
Right, and Evans argues retail is going through the same process, just on a different timeline. What makes retail's unbundling unique?
Well, Maya, let's think about the physical infrastructure for one. For decades, owning real estate was the gatekeeper. If you controlled the shelf space, you controlled access to customers. But now, e-commerce has grown steadily at about 1% per year since 2000, and that's chipping away at the old model's foundation.
And the pandemic accelerated that, though maybe not as permanently as people thought at first.
Exactly. Well, I should say that's the interesting part. There was this narrative that e-commerce had jumped forward 3 to 5 years. But when you look at the UK and US data post-pandemic, things returned closer to the original trend line. However, and this is crucial, the category level story is very different.
How so?
In the UK, food e-commerce went from 5% to 10% penetration. That's a genuine shift. But non-food went from 30 to 40%. When nearly half your category is online, you can't treat e-commerce as just another channel. It becomes the default, and your real estate model starts to look like a liability, not an asset.
That's a massive structural challenge. Evans also talks about how consumer brands, the ones supplying retailers, are facing their own crisis. Christine, can you explain a bit about what's happening there?
The old playbook was simple: make a product, ship it to retailers, buy ads in magazines or TV, and customers would find you on the shelf. Now, every part of that chain is under pressure. Manufacturing faces shorter runs and new competition. Distribution has fragmented. Advertising has moved online where attention is infinite and expensive. And then direct to consumer brands bypass wholesale entirely.
So the whole value chain is being taken apart and reassembled. Shopify is a good example of that, right?
Yes, it really is. Shopify hit $170 billion in GMV in 2021, which is half of Amazon's marketplace volume. But here's the twist: Shopify isn't a consumer brand, it's a B2B platform that enables thousands of brands to compete. It's not from Silicon Valley, it's Canadian, and it's not a traditional retail competitor, yet it's reshaping the entire playing field.
And Amazon itself is unbundling in a different direction with advertising.
Right. Back in 2021, Amazon made $31 billion in ad revenue, comparable to YouTube or major newspaper groups. That's the retail media story. Any retailer with customer traffic suddenly realizes they're sitting on advertising inventory. Retailers are becoming media companies, and media companies are experimenting with commerce.
Which brings us to someone like Shein. They seem to embody this whole new bundle: no factories, no stores, but launching 10 to 20,000 SKUs a day. How does that even work?
Shein is a perfect case study in rebundling. They've combined ultra fast product cycles, direct shipping from China social media as their primary marketing engine, and smartphone native shopping. They don't buy traditional ads, they don't own manufacturing, but they've captured 30% of the US fast fashion market by answering two questions differently: how do I reach customers? And how do I get products to them?
That's a fundamentally different business model. But it also raises risks, doesn't it? Supply chain opacity, labor concerns, environmental impact.
For sure. Speed and scale can obscure accountability. And as regulators and consumers become more conscious of those issues, models like Shein's will face pressure to adapt. The question is whether the model itself can evolve or whether it's inherently unsustainable.
On the flip side, you have legacy players trying to adapt. L'Oreal, for instance, now does 25% of its business directly online.
That's a great example of a traditional brand recognizing the shift and investing in direct relationships with consumers. Even WPPD, the advertising giant, is competing with Shopify now by offering end to end e commerce solutions. The lines between supplier, retailer, advertiser, and platform are blurring.
So, if everyone has infinite product options and infinite advertising inventory, what actually differentiates a brand?
Storytelling. Evans points out that Amazon, for all its scale, doesn't tell a story. It just offers endless choice. In a world where anyone can launch a product and reach customers, the brands that win are the ones that create meaning, identity, and connection. The internet didn't make marketing less important, it made it more important, just in a completely different way. Start by asking which parts of your value chain are actually defensible. Is it your product, your customer relationship, your logistics, your data? Then look at where new players are attacking or where you could attack others and decide whether to defend, partner, or rebuild. The worst move is assuming your current bundle will hold together indefinitely.
Christine, your ability to connect these macro trends to practical strategy really brings this to life. Thank you for walking us through it.
You're welcome, Maya.
You can find the link to the full exclusive in the episode description. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the IADS Retail Park. For more insights and exclusive content, follow us on LinkedIn, explore our Substack, and visit iads.org.